Coming up on News Center 16 at 5:30.
Flames filled the night sky once a Michiana business caught fire. A closer look at the conditions stemming from this deadly blaze. Plus, this trying time is bringing a town together as people remember and honor the volunteer firefighter who risked it all to keep his community safe. And it's a trend becoming all too familiar in our community, even hitting close to home. Now city leaders are taking steps to make sure the public survives active shooter situations.
From WNDU, your breaking news and weather authority. This is News Center 16 at 5:30.
A time of pain is showing the strength of a Michiana community. Good evening, I'm Seth Conley. Those in New Carlisle are remembering a man who willingly put himself in danger in order to keep others safe. 41-year-old Jamie Middlebrook was a volunteer firefighter for the town, and he served as the department's assistant chief. Last night, he died while fighting a massive fire at a septic pumping business called KFEX. News Center 16's Gabby Gonzalez spent all night out on the scene, and she returned back there today. And we begin our coverage out there at New Carlisle with Gabby. And Gabby, many hearts are very heavy in Michiana tonight as we all remember a true hero.
Yes, Seth, a very somber tone all day here today. People stopping by the firehouse to pay their respects. And I actually just got off the phone with the LaPorte County coroner. He tells me the autopsy on Assistant Chief Middlebrook has now been completed. We now know that he did pass away from blunt force trauma and a broken neck. Those injuries are consistent with the roof collapsing on him while he was in the KFEX building fighting that fire last night. They're actually in a procession right now coming back from Lafayette back to town, and they will be taking Middlebrook to a funeral home here in town. I'm joined now by News Center 16's Trisha Hart. And Trisha, I have to say the efforts going on here all day to honor Middlebrook's memory have just been amazing.
They really have, Gabby. And if you look behind us, there's a red pickup truck that's now decorated with the flowers that people have been dropping by all day. This is an ongoing effort to memorialize him by both people living in New Carlisle and then firefighters not just from here but from around the entire area. Now, the New Carlisle Fire Department raised an American flag, attaching it to one of their ladder trucks earlier this morning. The Indiana Fraternal Order of Police, who typically handle funeral arrangements for fallen police officers, have been called in to assist with this particular funeral. Officials told me Middlebrook will have a ceremony and procession with fire and police escorts. The date of the funeral has not been decided just yet. Middlebrook has been on the job since 1992 as a volunteer firefighter. His full-time job was as a New Carlisle EMT. He worked with his partner, Matt O'Donnell, on the ambulance, and together they went into the fire last night side by side. Both were trapped. O'Donnell made it out alive.
Well, I've lived here all my life, and the fire department is volunteer. They put it out there anytime there's a fire without hesitation. There's never been anything as tragic as this happen to anybody from the fire department. And your children aren't supposed to leave before you do, so my thoughts do go out to Bob and his wife.
On behalf of the Governor Mike Pence, Department of Homeland Security, Office of the State Fire Marshal, our condolences and prayers go out to the family and friends of these firefighters.
Now, New Carlisle is a small town. A lot of people here who have come, they put flowers up by the fire truck. They put it by the flag. They said that this is just something that they will never forget. The LaPorte County Sheriff's Department is actually handling the death investigation along with the LaPorte County coroner. His body, like it's being processed back right now. It was processed with fire and police escorts on its way just to get the autopsy. So this is going to have a lot of ceremony to it, just like any officer killed in the line of duty. A firefighter gets the same amount of ceremony.
And I have to say, I got a Facebook message from a firefighter in Southwest Indiana asking when the funeral is for Assistant Chief Middlebrook, because his department plans on making the trip here, and I'm sure a lot of firefighters from around the state are going to be here for that as well.
And you can just see it. A lot of people have changed their Facebook images, and you've seen a lot of people wearing their fire department t-shirts here today, sitting around. People aren't just coming and going. They're coming and they're staying, and they're giving hugs, and they're just showing that support.
And I think that's what the folks here in New Carlisle need. All right, Trisha, thank you so much. And I'm going to step aside so you guys can take a look at this growing memorial behind us here. I just saw a little boy and his father drop off flowers as well. People of all ages stopping by to pay their respects. And also, the outpouring of support continues here in the community. I'm joined now by News Center 16's Megan Hickey, who is out here all day. And Megan, this is really just affecting everyone here.
You're right. I can't tell you how many times I've heard the word hero used to describe Assistant Chief Middlebrook. You know, New Carlisle is a small, tight-knit community, and people have said was really a pillar of that community. Others told me that they stood by him during his battle with leukemia, and now they are standing by him and his family and his widow and the firefighters in the wake of his tragic death. Also, a lot of businesses in particular have made an effort to support the family and the fire department. Several store owners said Middlebrook and other firefighters had been very welcome patrons over the years. The diner just up the road from the firehouse is donating all of their tips from the 5 to 8 p.m. dinner service tonight to Jamie's widow, Julie Middlebrook. Other businesses like Miller's Home Cafe brought over a full meal for the firefighters at the station this afternoon.
Kind of what we thought tonight was that what we could do is help out Julie by collecting our tips together from the dinners from 5 to 8, and everything that we make as waitresses, we're gonna just donate to her to help out in whatever way we can.
It's just amazing to see, and Jamie had been sick a long time ago and fought leukemia, and to watch the community fight and battle with him during that time too was amazing, and to turn around and do triathlons and marathons and just overcome so much, and then to be defeated by what he loved doing.
And again, that's 5 to 8. That's at the diner just up the street, and all of the tips are going to his widow. And I mean, it's really touching when you think about with these local small businesses, they really need their tips. They really need to sell all of the products that they have. So the fact that they're willing to make this sacrifice, I think says a lot about how willing they are to support this community.
And Megan, there are people here at the fire station overnight at 2 o'clock in the morning, honking their horns as they drove by, stopping by to give their condolences. So you just see how close people here are, and it's just amazing to see really all of them coming together like this.
Really, it's been all day, people making pilgrimages to the site just behind us, and it's been building, and I think it's going to continue to build.
And that procession, of course, is returning now from Lafayette, bringing Middlebrook back to take him to that funeral home. All right, Megan, thank you so much. And our coverage of Assistant Chief Middlebrook's death continues. Seth Conley is back at our studios in South Bend. Seth?
All right, thanks so much, Gabby. It's times like this that we see these small communities come together, but it's not just them. Other area fire departments are also paying their respects to Middlebrook today. We appreciate your work out there, Gabby. Even though Governor Pence hasn't issued a statewide order yet, many departments, including South Bend, have lowered their flags to show support for Assistant Chief Middlebrook. South Bend firefighters spend a lot of time alongside those in New Carlisle.
Whenever there's a line of duty death nationwide, I mean, it's one thing to hear about it, but then again, when it's very close to our hometown, it's a different effect.
And several South Bend firefighters and friends are friends with Middlebrook, and understandably, they are having a tough time with his loss as well. Many of you have reached out to us here at WNDU and left your condolences for Assistant Fire Chief Middlebrook on our Facebook page, and we want to share some of those with our viewers today. Terry posted prayers to Mr. Middlebrook and to his entire family and friends, and thank you for keeping so many safe. Tony commented, prayers to the family. Jamie was a good man. Rest easy, brother. We got it from here. Plus, Jackie simply says, thank you for your courage. And we hope that you'll stay with us here on News Center 16 as we continue to honor fallen New Carlisle firefighter Jamie Middlebrook. We're live from New Carlisle again at 6 o'clock, and we're going to showcase the love and commitment that Middlebrook had for his community during that half hour. We're going to change now and take a look at our forecast. Mike, it's looking like a pretty good night out there, maybe to get out and play some catch with the kids, right?
Yeah, the vast majority of us are going to stay nice and dry, but there are a few spots going to see a brief shower or sprinkles, and we can see that on 16 Doppler Max. You kind of have to look close. We're getting a little bit of ground clutter, as is typical around the radar site there in northeastern Kosciuszko County. So some of that in southeastern portions of Elkhart County is not actual shower activity, but I believe some of this is. You can see the batch near Goshen right now causing some very light sprinkles or a brief shower. This will cause maybe enough to wet the ground at most. So we're not talking much here. Here's my hour-by-hour forecast. 99% of us stay completely dry as we head through the middle parts of the evening. It'll be clearing off. Temperatures already dropping into the upper 60s by 10 o'clock. We'll let you know if they go into the 50s by morning coming up with my forecast.
Thanks, Mike. The Martin supermarket shooting was an eye-opening experience for many of us in Michiana residents, and it serves as a reminder that shootings can happen anywhere, even at your neighborhood grocery store. Today, dozens spent time learning how to survive an active shooter attack. Colonel Dave Grossman shared ways to protect our community. Now, he provides counseling to people involved in shooting massacres, those like Virginia Tech. Today, he gave ways to keep students safer. He wants to see police surveillance at schools. He also thinks the building should remain locked throughout the day.
Cameras do not deter the killer. The Columbine killers pose for the cameras. Unarmed guards do not deter the killer. What we want to deter them. Locked doors deter the killer. Keeping our school doors locked and controlling who walks in the building. That is a deterrent. They'll spend vast amounts of money on cameras and unarmed guards when the single best thing they can do is keep the doors locked and control who walks in your kid's school building.
Grossman also met with a large group of Michiana police officers. A man is in trouble for allegedly breaking in and trying to steal from a funeral home. It all went down yesterday morning. A 911 call was placed following an incident at Leesburg convenience store. Police then began searching for a man on a yellow motorcycle. They found the man trying to climb out of a broken window at Mishler Funeral Home in Milford. 19-year-old Austin Grindle has been arrested. He's from Warsaw. Police believe he was trying to steal movies from the funeral home. Police say Grindle was showing erratic behavior during his arrest. They took a blood test to see if he was under the influence of anything. Those results are still pending. He's charged with felony burglary of a business and remains in the Kosciuszko County Jail.
More to come on News Center 16.
It's double trouble for Hawaii. Storm staples are becoming hard to find as a hurricane hurls towards the island. The steps people are taking to stay safe. Plus, Notre Dame researchers are diving into breast cancer research thanks to a new grant. A look at their efforts tonight in a special medical moment just before 6.
And lots of sunshine today. Actually did take the temperature back into the lower 80s, but it's a lot less humid out there, which means it's fairly comfortable. I'll have your forecast, see if this continues or not with my 7-day coming up in a couple of minutes.
You're watching WNDU, your breaking news and weather authority. News Center 16 at 5:30. Tracking weather with an hour-by-hour forecast. Storm Team 16 is your weather authority.
Well, if you had to work or play hard today, I'm sure you worked up a pretty good sweat, but I'm sure those high school athletes across Michiana are appreciating the lower humidity today because that did help things out a little bit. But lots of sunshine, you know, lots of times in August it's in the mid to upper 80s with high humidity, so it could definitely be a lot worse for you if you're working outside or playing outside today. You can see mainly upper 70s to near 80 degrees. Now, we are going to have to watch this next storm system. This is a very slow mover. Everything's kind of slowing down. It's kind of the doldrums of the weather in August around here, and that happens many times. But this is a very slow-moving system that's expected to stay just to the south of us, so it's something we'll be watching. But at this point, it looks like we stay mainly dry from it, as all of it moves through central and southern Indiana. You can see right now we're mainly dry, but there are a few spots. I believe there are some very light sprinkles or showers in parts of central and northeastern Elkhart County, but the vast majority of us look just like this. This is our South Bend sky view overlooking Notre Dame. Lots of sunshine, 80 degrees, and look at the humidity. Very low, 35%. Winds are northerly at 13 miles per hour. So here's what the future looks like with 16 Future Track with our close-up version. And again, a couple of spots may see a shower, mainly in our eastern areas, but then it does clear off as we head through the overnight hours. So mostly clear skies right through the night. We do not expect a repeat of the fog that we saw this morning. Eastern areas had some dense fog in much of the outlying areas, but if it does happen tonight, it would be very patchy and not nearly as dense as last night. There's noontime tomorrow, partly sunny skies, a few more clouds in our southern counties, but the rest of us going to be partly sunny right through the day and partly cloudy into tomorrow night. Here's my Storm Team 16 forecast then for all of Michiana for this evening. A few clouds around this evening. Again, maybe a sprinkle in some spots in the eastern areas. Otherwise, it clears off. Temperature down to 66 already by 11 o'clock. And we're heading into the upper 50s by 5 a.m. We're expecting clear and 59 degrees. Here's my zone forecast, and we'll take a look at our southwest Michigan counties first of all. And one thing you'll notice is temperatures Almost as warm along the lakeshore as inland, so upper 70s to lower 80s, partly to mostly sunny in southwest Michigan after that cool morning. Eastern counties then, we're looking at temperatures close to that 80-degree mark, even 82 in Napanee, partly sunny and comfortable after the cool start. It will start off cool also in our southern zones, but a mix of sun and clouds keep temperatures only slightly warmer than the rest of us. So it looks like low to mid 80s in most locations and low 80s expected across St. Joe County with partly sunny skies. Here's the rest of my 7-day forecast, and you'll see 3 green days in a row. Haven't seen that in a while. Partly sunny skies right through the time period. 82, 80, and 80 expected for Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. And then low 80s for Sunday and Monday. Our only chance for a shower or thunderstorm comes on Monday. So unfortunately, the areas that did get missed by the rain the past couple of days, that's our only chance to really get anything significant at this point.
All right. Thanks, Mike. Well, it might be pleasant here in Michiana, but meanwhile in Hawaii, Hurricane Isel is taking aim. Those living there have storm staples flying off storm shelves faster than workers can even restock them. The Costco ran out of bottled water and toilet paper. At one point yesterday, it saw 600 customers in 15 minutes. And it's not just stores that are busy. Take a look at the long line at a gas station in Honolulu as well. Well, it is a security breach that could be one for the books. Were billions of passwords and usernames hacked? One company seems to think so. Who they say is to blame. Next. The latest cybersecurity breach, reportedly by a Russian crime gang, was discovered by a company in Wisconsin. Hold Security of Milwaukee has identified batches of stolen credentials before, but none have been as big. It's believed more than 1 billion usernames and passwords were hacked by a Russian ring. This would be the largest known collection of internet information ever. The group says more than 400,000 websites had information taken from them. Former Taliban prisoner Bo Bergdahl met with an Army investigator today. He was asked about his disappearance in 2009 while serving in Afghanistan. Bergdahl spent 5 years at the hands of the Taliban. He was released as a part of a controversial prisoner swap earlier this year. Here now are 16 stocks of local interest. A hefty grant from the American Cancer Society is going to go a long way towards advancing breast cancer research at the University of Notre Dame. The nearly $800,000 grant covers a 4-year period. Maureen McFadden spoke with researchers about how they plan to use the grant. And tonight, in a special medical moment just before 6, she shares their desire to figure out how cancer cells survive.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
In this lab, tucked inside the Galvin Life Sciences Center at Notre Dame, researchers are passionate about figuring out how cancer cells thrive and spread. Professor of Cancer Biology Dr. Zachary Schaefer says their research just got a massive shot in the arm from an American Cancer Society grant. Specifically,
trying to understand how cancer cells can survive during the course of metastasis, or survive during the trip from the site of the primary tumor to a secondary site. Take these cells, we put them in a plate.
Dr. Schaefer says 90% of cancer deaths are caused not from the original cancer, but from the cancer spreading.
Under normal circumstances, cells, non-cancerous cells, have programs in place to kill them off if they go into foreign environments. So basically, this is where they grow.
This grant may help them figure out how cancer cells trick the body. Schaefer says their initial discovery in 2009 is that cancer cells fix their metabolism or ability to consume nutrients, which allows them to survive that trip from one site to another.
How is it at the molecular level that they're able to survive and turn off these cell death programs so that they can live for the duration of their trip?
While this research involves breast cancer, they believe some of the mechanisms they're working on might apply to treating other types of cancers. We all know that lack of funding can hold research back, so Schaefer says a grant of this amount is critical.
So it gives us the financial support to really move forward very rapidly.
And now that they know cancer cells can fix themselves, the question is how? They've made discoveries there, too.
We have identified some key regulators that we think are, that we have evidence are critically involved in allowing these cells to survive.
So what does this mean for the future of breast cancer?
What we hope is that this type of information could be used in the future to stop the spread of cancer from a primary site to a secondary site.
So this is potentially life-saving.
We hope so. We hope that would legitimately allow for the elimination of these cells as they are starting to spread.
Check my math for me.
And maybe one day eliminate the staggering 90% of cancer deaths caused by those rogue cells that somehow survive. Maureen McFadden, News Center 16.
Dr. Schaefer's grant was made possible through a fundraiser created by Lee Jeans. Participants pay $5 to wear jeans to work, and that's raised more than $91 million for the American Cancer Society and its fight against breast cancer. Well, coming up, forget a rock and a hard place. This man found himself stuck between a train and a station platform. The group effort to save him, next. Well, they're being called the People of Power, an incredible rescue by a group of commuters all caught on camera. Take a look at the scene at an Australian train station here. A man slips, becoming trapped between a train and a platform. Another passenger stops the train from leaving, and then dozens of others joined in to help the rescue of their fellow commuters. Look at them all there. The group formed a line, began pushing on the cars, tilting the train just far enough for the man to free his leg. Employees at the station described the moments as heartwarming. Amazing. Absolutely amazing.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, quite the story. How are we looking?
Oh, mostly good this evening. A couple of showers right now in Elkhart County, but the rest of us staying dry.
All right, and our 90 minutes of news continues next. Here's a preview.